Hi, my name is Aaron and this is my show, Re-Education. So yesterday I made a video about how I thought the economy was likely to crash. I had some blowback, mostly by a few friends, and they were just giving me a hard time, and I get that. But they brought up a couple of points that are, salient, that are actually quite interesting, that I want to touch on. Throughout my entire YouTube history, I've always used logic, reason, and evidence to determine any position that I would hold. And this is no different. I'm simply doing nothing more than just looking at the facts, looking at the history, and looking at the logic behind it all and coming to a conclusion. You can believe me or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm just some random jackass on the internet. What I say is completely inconsequential to the rest of the world, but what I can do is show you the facts that I have been presented with and let you know that what I'm saying is just the logical conclusion to the facts that were presented to me. So here are some of those facts. Government debt right now is at $66 trillion. That's 80% of the global GDP. Now, what does that mean? That means that it's double what it was in 2007, right before we had the Great Recession. Okay? Household debt in America is $13 trillion at an all-time high. That's up $500 billion from 2007. The average American carries $137,000 in debt with a median income of $59,000. So they only make $59,000, but they have $137,000 in debt. There's a bit of a discrepancy there. And now this is where it gets really interesting. Corporate debt is at $6 trillion. Now that seems like it's less, but when you actually look into the numbers, the US corporate cash to debt ratio is at a record low of 12%. Okay, well it was at 14% in 2008. So that means that for every $1 in cash that they have $8 in debt. This is what they call in economic circles the everything bubble. Like I said yesterday, there was no recovery from the crash in 2007. We simply just injected the economy with a massive amount of adrenaline. We shot the market straight up through the fucking roof, but we didn't fix any of the problems. And you'll notice that, yeah, they keep talking about how there's more jobs and how this, that, and the other thing, how the economy is doing great and so forth. Okay, there are more jobs, but they're more shittier jobs. Consolidation of large corporations merging together and creating a monopoly is almost at an all-time high. Automation is killing jobs so fast that your head is basically spinning, and not to mention the massive layoffs and corporate shutdowns that are happening all over the country. There's no question that the global economy is slowing. Interest rates are at 0 or near 0% all across the world. Okay, so I said that there are massive layoffs happening. Let me go through them. Verizon, 800 employees. Sears and Kmart is closing 80 more stores. Lowe's, 51 stores. Mattress Firm, 700 stores. Toys R Us, 735 stores. Chipotle, 65 stores. Starbucks, 150 stores. H&R Block, 400 locations. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people could say, well, there's a massive transition towards e-commerce. I'm sure that that would make up a large percentage of why we're seeing malls all dying and why retail stores are all closing. And unfortunately, even if we're to use the most liberal of numbers, that only makes up about 15% of total retail sales. We're seeing a massive slowdown in the economy. We're seeing massive debt levels reaching higher than we've seen since the crash in 2007. That graph that I showed you yesterday, if you'll notice the rate at which the amount of money that is being flushed into the system is rising, it far surpasses the level at which we were raising in the 1920s before the Great Depression. Listen, all I'm doing is just showing you numbers here. That's all I'm doing. I'm just giving you the facts the way that I see them. And you can take from that what you will. But personally, the way that I look at it, it's not a bad idea to keep a couple months worth of food in your house. There's a difference between being a prepper and being prepared. Keeping a few flares inside of your car, a couple of bucks in your pocket, or getting a life insurance policy are obvious things that you should do to make sure that you prepare for situations that you don't know are going to happen. Why should we be treating the economy any differently than that? If you look at the numbers and you see all of these things happening, you shouldn't just take a attitude of, oh, well, I'm sure everything is just going to be fine. You should look at it and honestly say to yourself, hey, this might be a problem. I'm not saying that it's going to be. It very well could all be solved by just injecting more fictitious money into the system. I know I know that they've been talking about it, but eventually these billions and trillions of dollars of chickens will eventually just come home to roost. There's never been an economy in the history of the world that has been able to devalue their currency, that's been able to debase their coinage so much that hasn't completely collapsed. So it might not happen now. It might not happen in 2 years from now. It might not happen in 100 years from now. This is the numbers. I'm just giving you the numbers. It's fine. It might not happen. I'm not an economist. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm literally just some random douchebag on the internet. I know fuck all. All I know is that I look at these numbers and I see that there might be a problem. Small problem. Who knows? Anyway, my name is Aaron. This is Reeducation. Thanks for watching.